Eagles News, ESPN grades the Jaire Alexander trade, Philadelphia Eagles news and links for 11/2/25. Let's get to the Philadelphia Eagles news and links. NFL trade grades, Michael Carter 2, Jaire Alexander, ESPN. Ravens trade CB Alexander to Eagles. Eagles get CB Jaire Alexander, 2027 7th-round pick. Ravens get 2026 6th-round pick. Eagles grade, B-. Ravens grade, B+. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman will not rest until he has turned over every rock looking for the best option at outside cornerback opposite Quinyon Mitchell. Earlier this week, he traded with the Jets for Michael Carter 2, a nickel whose presence might allow Cooper DeShawn to play outside in nickel packages. Now, it's Alexander, the former Packers star turned healthy scratch with the Ravens. In general, I respect throwing multiple darts at a problem, especially as a team with, repeat, Super Bowl champion aspirations. That being said, the chance that Alexander is the solution looks quite unlikely. He managed to play just 14 regular season games across 2023 and 2024 with Green Bay, largely due to injuries. He signed a one-year, $4 million deal with the Ravens in June but has played just 2 games despite remaining healthy. Alexander's debut for the Ravens against the Bills in Week 1 did not go well. He allowed 5 receptions on 5 targets for 113 yards, per NFL Next Gen stats. Alexander's 4.2 yards allowed per coverage snap were the second most by an outside corner with at least 25 coverage snaps that week, behind only the Eagles' Adoree Jackson. Eagles-Ravens trade, Philadelphia acquires CB Jaire Alexander, BGN. The Eagles are working hard the weekend before the NFL trade deadline, and have made a trade with the Baltimore Ravens for former Pro Bowl CB Jaire Alexander. The Eagles received Alexander and a 7th-round pick, and sent Baltimore a 6th-round pick in return. Roundtable reactions, Ravens, Eagles complete Jaire Alexander trade, Baltimore beat Dow. When the Ravens signed CB Jaire Alexander in free agency, it was thought to be a needle-moving acquisition that would catapult the Ravens secondary into elite territory. Unfortunately, Alexander's time in Baltimore never materialized into something meaningful. After struggling in the opening game of the season against Buffalo, Alexander didn't find any meaningful playing time and was not activated to the roster for a majority of games. Clearly, Alexander's nagging injuries prevented him from being the player the Ravens thought they signed. Throw this one in the Deontay Johnson bucket for Ravens acquisitions that severely came in below expectations. Philadelphia Eagles trade for Jaire Alexander before Green Bay Packers game in Week 10, Acme Packing Company. Meanwhile, the Eagles have struggled mightily to find a quality cornerback to start on the boundary opposite second-year pro Quinyon Mitchell, cycling through the likes of Adoree Jackson and Kelee Ringo at times this season, though Jackson missed last Sunday's game due to a concussion. Alexander gives the Eagles another veteran presence in the secondary, though the extent that he will contribute will remain to be seen over the coming weeks. Because the Eagles are on a bye this weekend, Alexander's first opportunity to suit up in an Eagles uniform will come against the Packers next Monday night. That should add a bit of additional intrigue to a game that has plenty of it, with this being the team's first meeting since Philadelphia defeated Green Bay in the wild card round of the 2024 playoffs in January. Eagles Player Review, Jaire Alexander Edition, Philly Voice. In the Ravens' Week 5 loss to the Texans, Tampa and Martin, again, both of whom are rookies, started with Ozzie and Humphrey both out with injuries. Add in that Wiggins is obviously ahead of Alexander as well, and by the time Alexander was traded, he was no better than the Ravens' CB6 in one of the worst defenses in the NFL. He wasn't just inactive because he doesn't play special teams. He was behind those 2 rookie corners in the regular defense as well. The hope from the Eagles' perspective is that defensive backs coach Christian Parker can get Alexander to play better, as Parker was on the Packers coaching staff for 2 years when Alexander still played in Green Bay. But it's probably more likely that Alexander just isn't a good player anymore. Alexander the Eagles blitz. I think you should look at Alexander as a depth move. The Eagles traded for Michael Carter the other day to have better depth at nickel. Alexander gives them better depth outside. Both players are veterans, the kind of guys you might need in January. What this does tell you is that good CBS weren't available, at least not at a reasonable price. How he would have loved to add a plug-and-play CB who could come in and stabilize his side of the field. I guess that guy wasn't on the market. Eagles agree to acquire CB Jaire Alexander from the Ravens, PE.com. Alexander was Pro Football Focus top-ranked cornerback and the only one with a grade above 90.5, in 2020. Alexander was outstanding in the 2020 playoffs, allowing one catch for -3 yards in the divisional round win over the Rams. He followed that up in the NFC Championship game by picking off Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady on consecutive possessions when Brady was targeting wide receiver Mike Evans. Alexander finished with more interceptions, 2, than receptions allowed, 1, in the postseason. In his second Pro Bowl and All-Pro campaign of 2022, Alexander posted the best numbers of his career with 5 interceptions and 4 tackles for loss to go along with 56 tackles and a team-best 14 passes defensed. He was Pro Football Focus 7th-ranked cornerback and allowed a passer rating of just 63.7, the 8th lowest in the league. In Rube's Eagles OBS, trying to make sense of mystifying A.J. Brown's situation, NBCSP. This constant A.J. Brown drama is exhausting. Hey, the dude is a top 5 wide receiver and he's higher than 5th. I love watching him play. Guy's a beast. But the social media stuff isn't helping anybody and I can't imagine Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman, and Nick Sirianni are thrilled with it. He never comes out and says what he's thinking, he just keeps sending out these cryptic tweets that leave everybody guessing and force the media to run to his locker and ask what he meant. Does he just crave attention? Is he unhappy being an Eagle? Does he want to play elsewhere? Does he have issues with Jalen Hurts? Nobody has any clue because he never comes out and actually says anything, he just hints at it, then either apologizes or says he was misunderstood or just smiles and says he doesn't want to talk about it. It's so tiresome. It's this endless cycle of AJ sending out social media posts and everybody trying to figure out what he means. How about this, get rid of social media and just play football, and if you have something to say, just come out and say it instead of playing this game of hinting at it with enigmatic tweets. Hey, Brown is not a bad guy. This isn't T.O. here. This is a dude who plays hard whether he's running a route or blocking and has never gotten into trouble off the field. But the constant drama is just silly and unnecessary. Brown isn't getting traded this year, but if it doesn't stop I wonder when it will just be too much for the Eagles to deal with. Report, multiple teams have interest in Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, PFT. Cameron Wolfe of NFL Media reports that multiple teams have significant interest in trading for Dolphins pass rushers Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Wolfe adds that the